plenty of specialties, and one of them is gopchang. That's grilled pork intestine. There's a street in Daegu called Anjirang Gopchang Alley, and as the name suggests, pretty much all of the restaurants here sell gopchang. Just from looking around, they all seem to be pretty much the same price and sell the same thing. A couple of them are a little different with modern takes such as cheesy. We thought we'd just try one with high reviews and a pretty traditional menu. Let's go. So normally one set of gopchang is 500 grams for 12,000 won, and makchang is 150 grams for 8,000 won. We're gonna get the D set, which is half a portion of gopchang and 2 portions of makchang. So with the makchang, once it's grilled enough to have a little bit of color on the outside, it's good to chop it up so that the inside can cook as well. In this case, the gopchang is ready to eat, but the makchang might need a little longer. Let's try. This is the gopchang, I believe. Let's try it. You think it's gonna be spicy? It's not spicy. It's crispy on the outside because it's been cooking for so long. It has a nice grilled flavor, a little bit greasy. There's no like stinky flavor. It's mostly just a flavor of like really grilled skin, like chicken skin. A little bit like chicken skin, yeah. Collagenous and a little bit chewy. Not fatty, right? Not too fatty. What's the sauce on the outside? It's really hard to say. You can barely taste it actually. I thought it would be spicy, but it's really not. It's really, really not.
Look how caramelized that gets.
I got myself the makchang. Let's try the makchang. The makchang is a hell of a lot chewier than the gopchang. It's seasoned entirely on its own natural oil, and it's nice and crispy and light in flavor. Unlike the gopchang, it actually doesn't have a lot of the funky intestine flavor. I think that's why they don't season it beforehand. It's really chewy, almost like eating cartilage, but not quite to that extent. But I wouldn't be able to tell you which one I like more, because they have their differences, but they're both really good. There are quite a few side dishes. All of them you're free to wrap up in your lettuce however you want to. I would recommend throwing the garlic onto the grill just to have it a little toasty and a little cooked before eating it, but that's my preference. Feel free to do it however you want to do it. Gopchang Alley came to be because there's this one single restaurant named Jjimgalbi. It was so popular that other restaurants started popping up around the area, and that's basically how things work in Korea. They didn't become competitors more than they became like a supportive bunch of gopchang making restaurants. I love that. I really liked it. I like the makchang more, and I personally like the gopchang more. So we can't say which one's better. It's all depending on preference. Anyway, on to the next dish. We are on Jjimgalbi Street. Jjimgalbi is braised ribs. That's beef ribs. This place has been around for about 50 years, and while it's not a cheap meal to eat, it is one of the local specialties, so we thought we'd just splurge a little and give it a go. The beef ribs are usually marinated in a blend of fruits such as pears and steamed. The difference between the Daegu specialty over the Seoul one is that they cook it in aluminium bowls instead of clay or stone. And they also use extra garlic and extra chili, so it's spicier and sweeter. All around restaurants on this street, it's the same price. They have 2 different types of jjim-galbi. The first one is the Korean beef. The other one is usually imported beef. Unfortunately, you can't get one of each to try. You have to share the same menu item. So we thought we'd just go for the cheaper option. Hopefully, it will be enough. We'll see how it goes. It looks really spicy. I'm a bit scared. Here goes. It's really tender. It's a little salty, quite garlicky, and not as sweet as what I expected it to be. But that's because the original one is usually quite sweet. This one has quite a different flavor. It's not fruity. The garlic flavor really stands out. It's not as spicy as I thought it would be. I'm sure it'll get spicier the more I eat, definitely. It is very mild in flavor. It reminds me of Southeast Asian food because it's not fruity. It's got the flavor of chili and garlic, and it tastes like it could be Indonesian without too much of the Southeast Asian spices, like cumin. You know what I mean? The basic flavors of chili, cooked chili, and garlic really reminds me of Southeast Asian food, which is surprising. It's actually really good. I have rice, but she chose to just eat with lettuce today. Garlic. Extra garlic.
I love garlic.
You can barely feel the beef as you chew. The bean paste gives a little saltiness to it, which brings out the sweet flavor of the natural seasoning of the beef and the garlic. That's really good. White cabbage kimchi. This one's peanuts and sweet sauce. Fried tofu, bean paste, spicy pickled radish, peppers and garlic, maybe spinach, and pickles. The tenderness of the beef never fails to surprise me. I've had like a few mouthfuls already, but I'm surprised, but it actually doesn't get any spicier the more you eat it. It just stays on that same level of like warm, tingly. I'd say it's like 2 out of 5 in my own personal level of spice. What about you?
It's 1 out of 5 for
1 out of 5. Okay. I mean, even though with the peppers make it a little spicier. Put it in the wrap. It's amazing. I think it's really nice. Guys, I don't know what happened. It was so good. The more you ate it, the better it became. I completely cleaned the bowl. Like the first bite I had, it was like, okay, it's pretty good. And then the more I ate it, I was like, I need more of this. Surprisingly, neither sweet nor salty nor too savory, and yet it becomes sweeter and saltier and more savory as you eat. I gotta say, it's gotta be one of the most satisfying dishes we've had in Korea. Straight up, I'm so happy with that. I'm so full. And this place might not even be the best one. A word of warning that the rice actually costs an extra 1,000. It doesn't come automatically with the meal. Honestly, I'm 100% satisfied with not getting the Hanwoo one. We can just never have the Hanwoo one ever, and I'll just never know what I'm missing out on. But this was just really, really good. Welcome to dong-jib alley. Not much of an alley, but it is pretty much a whole neighborhood of restaurants that pretty much sell the same thing. dong-jib literally translates to chicken coop house. But that's not quite it. It is actually chicken gizzards. We're gonna have it in the style of fried chicken, which is basically just deep fried chicken gizzards. That sounds actually amazing. I'm so keen to try. Let's go.
We got the first one, molen dong-jib. It means the
Everything.
gizzards fried 3 ways. So just plain fried, soy sauce, and marinated.
This is how big it is, honestly. Do we need a thumbnail? Could we thumbnail this? I've got myself the fried one without any sauce on it. Let's give it a go. The fried one is unseasoned, so that's why they serve the salt on the side, so you can season it as you eat. It's quite interesting because the batter is, for me personally, reminiscent of chicken wings, while the inside is like a sturdy octopus. It's got the bounce, a little bit of like a snappy chewiness.
I describe it as a cartilaginous crunch.
Yeah, that's about it. It's not quite tender, but it's still really easy to chew. The skin is really thin and crispy. And I don't know how it will hold up against the sauce, but it seems like the marinated ones are still equally as crispy. It's really amazing. I'm trying the yangnyeom, which is the seasoned one. Sweet, spicy, I believe. It's not piping hot. So I think in this situation, they've just refried it to make it a little bit more crunchy again, instead of refrying it to make it super, super hot and cooking it from raw. It's crunchy on the outside and the inside is so satisfyingly chewy. The sauce is a familiar sauce, a little bit spicy and a little bit sweet, but not too much of either. You just get some of the pepper paste, the gochujang flavor. It's a little bit garlicky, but not too much. It's something that you can eat a lot of if you eat all 3 flavors. This one is the soy sauce one. It looks like it's pretty lightly marinated, so let's give it a go. It's more like a sweet soy sauce. Just a very mild, light, sweet flavor. Not salty as you'd expect for soy sauce. Tastes like there might be a little bit of garlic in there. I think in terms of preference, if there was no salt on the fried one, I actually like the soy sauce one the best. It comes with fried sweet potato, just if you get bored of fried chicken gizzards, try it. It's still firm, so it's not completely fluffy, but it's sweet potato. It's pretty good, but it's not amazing. I kind of can't believe we finished all of that. It was so good. The thing is, if I'd had a bigger plate, I would have still attempted to finish off the whole thing, you know? It's just so satisfying. It's crunchy on the outside and chewy crunchy on the inside. And the seasoning is so nice and light that it doesn't become sickening or heavy the more you eat. And it's not too greasy either. It's kind of greasy, but sort of in a good way. But it was constant eating for about an hour, which was fun, actually. We did it. We're here at a restaurant called Mandu for one of Daegu's specialties, 납작만두. 납작만두 is a flat dumpling which they first boil and then pan fry before serving. It's usually filled with glass noodles and vegetables and topped with vinegar, soy sauce, spring onion and chili pepper. It's become quite popular to eat with noodles, almost as a side dish, so let's eat that. We got the small size of the 납작만두. They're small and large. And we also got one jjimgalbi, which is cold spicy noodles. Let's give it a go. Ooh. I don't quite want to be a letdown, but the first bite was quite floury. I didn't get one with a lot of the sauce on top. So you get a pretty nice grilled flavor, honestly. And it's not salty or sweet or predominantly anything except for, imagine a stir-fried noodles which is just seasoned with basic salt. With the vinegar and the soy sauce, it's a lot more tasty. It is like seasoning your own stir-fried noodles after it's been served to you. The texture, I hoped it would be a little crispy, but it's mostly just a noodle texture. I think it would actually taste nicer if you did eat it with the noodles, so I guess I can see why it's so popular. You can see this one burst. It has pretty much just the same as I thought, glass noodles and shredded vegetables. Let's try the jjimgalbi. I really like cold spicy noodles though. Let's go. The first thing that hits you is immediately the sauce that it comes with. It's sweet, almost like a fake honey sweetness, not in a bad way. And of course the spiciness from the chili paste. The texture is actually quite interesting too. The jjimgalbi is very chewy. It's actually half noodle to half shredded cabbage. So you get crunchy texture with the texture of the chewy noodles, which I think makes for a nice difference in texture as well as flavor. It freshens up the dish as well. It's a warm spicy. It's not overwhelming. I think it'll get spicier the more you eat it, but for me, it's a perfect amount of spice. I like the seaweed in it too. It gives it a nice roasty flavor. Some umami in there for you. I think I'll give it a go with the noodles. It's a really big bite, but here goes. Considering that the mandu is just a really large, flat noodle, a combination of the two actually make for a really nice bite together. So I would actually recommend eating it like that. I try not to be too disappointed in the dumplings. After all, this is the original place. They probably haven't changed up the recipe in the last 50 years. That's my assumption. I think with 납작만두, we're expecting too much out of a poor man's dish, and this is supposed to be how it is. You might be able to find better ones elsewhere, and a market is probably the most ideal place to get it, where they make it fresh on the spot. That being said, the jjimgalbi is really good. Seems like we couldn't try the best version of 납작만두 this time round. Hopefully, there will be another chance to do so. We'll see you next time. We're here at Hue Town. Hue is usually raw sliced fish, but in this case, hue is not quite the same as usual. Muchimhwe is supposed to be raw fish mixed with shredded vegetables and spicy sauce, but in the middle of Korea where Daegu sits, there isn't much fish to go around. In this specialty of Daegu, they use boiled squid or octopus in place of raw fish. I'm hungry. Sounds good. Let's eat. Of course, we had to get the Muchimhwe here, but
instead of getting a medium or a large size, I decided to get the Muchimhwe and 납작만두 set. It seems like it's quite popular because you need a carb to eat it with, right? So instead of ordering rice, I decided to get the dumplings that we tried yesterday. We got something spicy and salty to eat it with. The one thing I can smell from this is just sesame oil, and that's a great flavor. So let's give it a try. In this case, it is squid. It's boiled squid and it's very tender. It's sliced into strips and there's some raw chives and other vegetables. It's quite sour. It's got a vinegar flavor and obviously the red pepper paste gives it a bit of spice, but not as much as I thought it would be. Despite how strong the sesame oil smells, it's quite a light flavor, and since it's cold, it's really refreshing. Something you definitely should eat in the summer. It's really good. The squid is so tender. There's some sweetness in there as well, which is typical for gochujang. But otherwise, it is predominantly a vinegar flavor, which I think is supposed to be there to balance the seafood. There's something really good about that. It's sour, salty, sweet, spicy, all in one go, so it throws you back and forth. I want to make a wrap. Do it. This is the 납작만두 wrapped around the muchimhwe. Oh, that was a big one. The 납작만두 is kind of layered as it's fried, so not all of it is super crispy all around the top. But that means the middle one, which I got, has kind of a texture of a lasagna sheet, if that makes sense, like a pasta lasagna sheet with crispiness around the edges. And since it's a little bit greasy, it goes really well with the vinegared, spicy, sweet, sour flavor of the squid. And what's even better is that the 납작만두 is still hot. So when you wrap it with a cold squid, it's like everything all in one go. It's so many textures and so many flavors, and not only that, the temperature also plays into it, which makes her a really nice wrap altogether. That is so good. I think there might actually be a couple of different types of seafood in here. There's what seems to be either cockles or mussels, as well as the squid. Maybe even like octopus in here. So some are softer than the others. And along with the raw vegetables, you get a lot more texture than you realized originally. I didn't expect to like this as much as I thought I would, because I was thinking it's boiled octopus or boiled squid. It's cheating a little bit because those are ingredients which are generally cheaper than a good quality sashimi, but I could eat a lot of this. This is incredibly satisfying.
We spent like an hour and a half eating. It was just such a big pile of squid. It's really good. It's just so good. It's so filling. It's so addictive. It's like eating cold noodles. I really like cold spicy noodles. The rice is not free, but honestly, if you get the dumplings, the 납작만두 along with it, I think it's fine to not have any rice with it because there's so much in the first place. Anyway, as to where you can find this restaurant, as well as everything else we ate in this video, you can go to our article, which will be linked in the description below. As to where we are now, follow us on Instagram at TwinsSpeakEatGo. Bye bye!